You gotta love razor wire. You gotta love razor wire. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to my humble little abode that you pay for. That's right. I'm out, of course, pretending to be Jackie Onassis. I wanted to come out to the sunlight because as I filmed inside, I realized, my God, all my cracks and crevices and my God, I had no beauty therapist, I had no makeup. So I thought I'd come out into the bright sunshine to get a bit of morning sun. This is a little treat for you. This is just the introduction to a video of Toben. Toben's in town. When Dr. Frederick Toben, world famous revisionist and Holocaust denier, came to visit me in 2010 before a directions hearing, early 2010, January, so 12, 13 years ago. Few people have seen this. It briefly appeared on YouTube in low quality before being deleted. I can't remember why. And just a quick rundown. At the time, Toben appeared a gentleman. I'd never heard him speak nastily of Jews or Jewish power. 1 second. Just noticed the lens was very dirty. His best friend was actually a Jew, a Jewish German who worked for East German Warsaw Pact counterintelligence, Peter Brockschmidt. Yes, Peter Brockschmidt, one of Frederick Toben's best friends, is actually a German Jew. Now an Australian citizen, lives in Adelaide. I met him, seemed a pretty nice guy, very interesting, would love to have chatted with him. I only met him for about 15 minutes, unfortunately. He was photocopying. And Peter Brockschmidt also, then when the wall came down, went to Israel and worked for Israeli Defense Force counterintelligence. Oh, interesting. Frederick Toben had a relationship with ASIO, that's the Australian CIA, where he was very, very friendly with them and said to me, oh, you know, ASIO do come by now and then and have tea, you know, and ask me what I'm up to in Iran. It's all very friendly. And I thought straight away, he's fishing. He's fishing. He's asking me, who am I? Are you one of us? I have, on the one hand, some fond memories of Frederick Toben, but other memories are that he is a deceitful, lying little cad. The revisionist movement is filled with people running around simply trying to get money off German estates when they die to revive and correct the German reputation from the Second World War. It's a big scam. They're all getting millions of dollars, some of them. Ernst Zundel got a lot. I have some respect for Ernst Zundel, who stood up for what he believed in, right or wrong, and went to jail for it. I could tell you many stories about Frederick Toben. Suffice to say, he did two things to me within a very short period of time. He tried to get me to speak with Jack Van Tongeren. If you don't know who that is the man who originally created the legislation that I was charged under. Yes, that's right. Them being very politically astute people said, hey, just before your trial, let's get you meeting with Jack Van Tongeren and do an interview. This guy's a raving loon who burnt down 12 Chinese restaurants. Actually, that's a lie. He said, I didn't burn down 12, I only burnt down 8. And when Peter Hartong, Frederick Toben's right-hand man, said, oh, I want you to meet Jack, I said, dude, you don't let that guy near me. What the hell's going on? I complained to Toben, and he said, oh, Peter probably just very bad, very, very bad judgment call. And I went, yeah, bad judgment call. Well, you know what happened? Frederick Toben, when I was in jail in 2012, did it again. Wrote a newsletter for the Adelaide Institute and talked as if me and Jack were old friends. And it was actually brought to me by a prison officer and said, this is what this guy's doing. I nearly hit the roof. That was Frederick Toben. The man is a compromiser and a piece of shit. All right? That's what Toben is, a grifter. Out for cash. And I have absolutely zero respect for the bastard. And I hope as he passed away and passed into the good night, he had a good think about some of his behaviour. All right, there's strong evidence to show in my interactions with him that he was working for an intelligence agency, running around, getting people's names, taking photos, grandstanding. He did not have a good reputation in the revisionist movement, not at all. And he was an idiot when it came to the law. He had no idea what he was talking about, and I had to practically learn stuff myself. None of these people are remotely interested in my directions hearing or my trial. Very important things we discussed. We had rabbis on the stand, Rabbi David Freilich, and Jewish professor of civilization studies, Professor Andrew Marcus. Has any revisionist ever contacted me and asked me for the trial transcript or directions hearing? No. It was offered to Michael Hoffman? No. None of them want it. These people are useless. None of these people can be used in any way, shape or form. We're going to have to organise our own conference one day. We've got to get a Norman Finkelstein. We've got to get Professor Shlomo Sander, Gilad Atzmon. We've got to get the usual suspects over and get rid of this revisionist movement cranks that have done nothing but give us all a bad name and behave like idiots with this little fetish. They're in it for the money, they're in it for the money, they're in it for the money. There's big dollars to be had by dying Germans with rich estates if you're running around protecting the honour of Germany. Okay, it's a fact. I saw it with my own eyes. They lied through their teeth. When Richard Krieg, who I did like, had a good sense of humour, when he went to the Treblinka site, allegedly, he admitted to me, to my face, that they weren't sure it was the site that we think it was, because when we left, they put 1-ton boulders all over the field. Oh, really? You think it was? And then they went on to say that they never got the data analysed and they didn't actually have a clue. They didn't tell you that, did they? The revisionist movement is filled with these cranks, idiots and morons and half-wits. And I'm personally sick of it. Sick of it. They've done nothing but damage any attempts at getting at the truth in so many different matters. Anyway, this is me, and this was a bit of footage, a bit of a novelty for you. I hope you enjoy it. Do not screen record or put it up anywhere else. This is just for my patrons who support me. Okay, we'll talk again soon. Ciao for now. Ladies and gentlemen, today is the 11th of December 2009, Perth, Western Australia. I'm with Dr. Frederick Toben. Thank God has come here to assist us in the case, and we've already found several strange things, and one of them is the car just won't start. What has been undone?
This is nonsense.
You want to just try it again? All par for the course. Gaslighting, of course. It could be something very simple, I'm sure. Dead as a doornail. But the lights coming. The lights are coming on.
Everything's coming on, but there's nothing.
There must be something simple. Is there just something to press? Did we do that before when we picked it up?
No, it's just, it should start just.
Ridiculous. I thought to myself, I wonder if we could park the car somewhere else, but anyway. That's very unusual to be dead as it lights come on, but the car's dead.
Let me just.
It must be the immobiliser. This is just a hire car got from the airport yesterday. It's been a great opportunity actually to have Dr. Toben here. He's been at this 14 years, so being able to draw on his experience has been fantastic. It was very quick. He hadn't really reviewed my stuff, but he managed to review a few of my videos, and he emailed me. Just by pure luck, I happened to go into an internet cafe and get his email, and he was online. He booked his ticket straight away and bolted here. So it's a great relief to me to have his 14 years of experience. Hopefully we can get to the court on time. A few shenanigans going on. No one informed us we're supposed to go to the magistrate's court. I went over there to double check something, and they said, you're not even listed, go to the district court. And they bring down the lady who says, oh, I couldn't ring you. They had my phone number, they had the home phone number. And so, oh yeah, a few things have changed. How lucky you came in today, yeah. So, and then Dr. Toben's assistant rang to find out the date, and they said Thursday. They lied when it was Friday. There is some really little tricky things going on here, and it's quite disgraceful. It's more than just administrative accidents, in my opinion, in our opinion, in fact. Well, any such luck? And now, of course, we're finding, although the electrical system on the car is working, we are getting lights. The engine's dead. We know we've done all the immobiliser stuff, but we're not really sure what's going on. Could be something simple, that's possible. However, should the car have been tampered with, that would be in perfect accord with the energy that has surrounded this case from the start, the gaslighting, the harassment, gang stalking. It would be all in accord. I'm prepared to accept that maybe it will turn out to be something perfectly innocent.
And foot on the... That's it, thank you.
Well, there you go. Well, we nearly blamed the Jews. How terrible. Let's get cracking. And these are some of the funny things that happen when you get so damn paranoid because of the things they get up to. But it's hilarious. Let's get cracking. So we're on the run. Ladies and gentlemen, it's all been go. Dr. Toben flew in yesterday morning on Thursday. It's been, I don't know what you'd call it. It's a real rush job, it seems the case. But it's certainly great to have a man with 14 years experience at this, giving me some fatherly advice, as it were.
Good morning. We're going to see Brendon make it to court at the right time.
And hopefully avoid the lockup this time. But we're going to just take as much video footage as possible. Of course, I'm banned from the internet. Nothing can be uploaded or distributed publicly, but we're certainly going to keep a record of this very important trial, and The main thing at the moment is to get an adjournment so that we have time to organise 2 to 3 months, particularly as it's the Christmas New Year's period. I'd prefer not to think about the case or Jews or anything to do with that over the Christ Mass New Year. And then to get some good legal advice and try to organise support, some money perhaps, and various other things. Just get everything together. And of course, they are requesting a directions hearing on the specific issue of are Jews a race? And because of course I'm being charged under the Racial Vilification Act, and this is quite a big thing, as Dr. Toben will explain. I don't know if we should do it while we're driving, but do you have time to explain a little bit how important this is, Frederick?
The importance of this case is that a problem arises when someone is charged with inciting racial hatred, and especially when it involves the Jews. In our case, in my case, Olga Scully's case, and others, the matter was a racial issue because the definition of being Jewish was considered to be a racial matter. We, of course, reject this. We say being a Jew is a matter of religion. And therefore, the Racial Discrimination Act, or in Western Australia, you've got this other act, does not grip. The problem is there was a case in London, I think it was last year, where it was not determined whether the Jews were a race or a religion. And therefore, this is the classic case here in Perth to determine, are Jews a race or a religion? What category do they fall into?
And to nail them down.
And to essentially then clarify this matter. It's of world significance because too many people have been penalized and criminalized because the Jews consider themselves to be a race for the benefit of activating the Racial Discrimination Act. The argument, of course, is also that the National Socialists determined the Jews were a race. And of course, this is we are contesting this. If that is the case, if the High Court of Australia, and this is where it has to be determined ultimately, if they again confirm, I think that the Jews are a race, then we have National Socialist legislation in Australia. And I think now I have to concentrate on the driving here. It's quite some traffic. What time? It's 10 past nearly 9:07, and I think peak hour traffic has faded.
Well, they said to come in at 10, but given the administrative difficulties and mistakes that have been made, we're a little bit concerned we might be getting diddled, perhaps.
Look, I'm worried when Peter rings up in Perth. And he's advised by the court administration that what's your business in this? Why are you interested in this case? It's on Thursday. That was yesterday. Well, Brendon says it's on today. I hope
December the 11th.
We'll see something.
We're in real trouble. Yeah. But anyway, well, there you go, ladies. That's a bit of a little rundown. It's been quite a little whirlwind 24 hours, actually. It's been fantastic. I feel a great deal of relief. I have some support, and you couldn't have better support and articulate, and I must admit, a very funny man. I've really enjoyed his company, get along very well, and a great sense of humour, which is really vitally important, and I can see why he's lasted 14 years. You'd need a good sense of humour to last 14 years in this game. I've had enough after 9 months, but I certainly feel rejuvenated and ready to get cracking again. Please support us whichever way you can. Of course, actually, it's probably pretty pointless asking that because you are not going to see this because, of course, I've essentially been gagged under the bail conditions. We'll see what happens, but certainly we're going to make a record of the whole thing and hopefully not pring the car or make too many mistakes. But certainly I feel a great deal of relief having Dr. Frederick Toben on board, and I think there's going to be a bit of world history made in little old Perth, and as they say, what good could come from Perth? And I hope it inspires you not to be intimidated and to get out there and speak the truth and be thankful. We don't want to live in a communist dictatorship. We want to live in a place where we have freedom to express our views in robust debates, even on the street, without people being prima donnas and running off demanding lawyers become involved. And what is essentially just two human beings, no threats. This could have been dealt with very easily, but they have chosen a different road. Fine. It's in God's hands, and I'm along for the ride. And I do want to thank you, Frederick, for coming along. It's been fantastic. I appreciate that.
It's almost like a goodbye, Brendon. I hope that you will not be, that bail will be refused and you'll be locked up for a few weeks, because how can you prepare your case from a prison cell? You can't. Well, and therefore we assume that you will, after the hearing, be back.
Yes, and I don't really feel like spending the day in the lockup again. It's very boring. But anyway, look, we'll shut down now, concentrate on the road, and we'll do a little after court, hopefully do an after court rundown, and maybe the media will be there, and we'll get a bit of video footage of that. And of course, I can make no comment, but certainly Dr. Frederick Toben is a free man, and he can certainly make as many comments as he likes. Okay, we'll sign off now, and we hope to speak with you soon. Cheers.
Straight in?
Straight ahead.
This is what our battle is all about, free expression. We refuse to split free expression into free speech and hate speech, as the opponents of free expression like to do. We accord anyone free expression.
G'day, Brendon O'Connell, Perth, Western Australia, at the front of the District Court. We've just come out of the trial listing hearing. The news is that we'll be going forward into a directions hearing on whether Jews are a racial group. That is listed for the 11th of February. On the 23rd, the DPP will put in their claim, and then I will, by the 29th of January, with the help of Dr. Frederick Toben and others, be placing in on the 29th of January my beliefs on whether Jews are a race, which of course they are not. But we shall see. This is a very important thing. We can define this. This will be international in scope. There are people from Tel Aviv to New York to London watching this, so it's really important.
The hearing today wasn't a hearing. It's merely settling the material to be heard in January. It was interesting to observe that there were about 60 people in court, and 30 of those legal eagles and support staff, and about 35 were the accused on whatever charge they had to come to court. It was interesting to see how the presiding judge had to fix dates. It was a call-over session for the morning, a very dreary, wearisome time, but important because Mr. Brendon O'Connor, in fact, his case was the important one, because we know that the issue that he's ripping wide open is whether the Jews are a race or not. And they, of course, meaning the Director of Public Prosecution, via proxy. It's a proxy all the time. He will, in fact, decide that it is a Racial Discrimination Act. The Racial Discrimination Act will kick in and Mr. O'Connell will be done in. But we hope through the internet, through that free medium of expression, we hope to get as much information on this matter which will prove, at least for this court session in January and February, that the racial issue of whether a Jew is a racial entity or a religious entity, that this will be settled. We do not want to reach the point that the National Socialists reached in the 30s that designated the Jew to be a race. Whatever is of side interest in some respects is that Mr. Troy, the senior public prosecutor, has resigned and he is moving into private practice. And he is here, is not involved in this matter anymore. The matter has a potential of becoming untidy because the defense has to rely on so many resources which costs thousands. In this respect, if you are interested in resolving this matter for the sake of truth, then please donate. Give us the financial resources that we need, the financial and intellectual and moral resources that we need to fight this case. It has to be settled. The Jews are not a race, we know that, but they play the race card when their behavior is questioned.